What's going on, guys? Welcome over here to my channel. I hope you guys been enjoying some of the videos I've been laying out for us recently. And I gotta go through this one right here, which is plug. I am actually in an active position here. I might be, I'm trying not to front run it, but I'm playing a little bit of a breakout that I saw, but this thing could be attempting to do something wonderful. Now, I might be a little bit early, but I am playing in some of this, and I'll show you exactly what I'm doing and why. But, basically what I was watching, if we were to take a horizontal, where was this? Right around this $22 level. When we broke this, I got in this candle right here. I started adding, and then recently I ended up adding on a smaller time frame within this right here, which basically what we can see just from like looking at it in this aspect, that every time this price was coming down, it was coming down. Well, it only happened these two taps right here, obviously on the 1 hour, but I was watching it on a 15-minute, which we can look at that right now. But on the 15-minute time frame, we could see that once we broke from this $22 range, we had a huge move up that launched us up to this $23 range. We came back down, we chopped around, and now we've been going sideways trying to build a base right here. And every time that the price came down here to this 22.48, 22.50 level, we got bought right back up. So it seems to me like there's a buyer sitting right here. So once we had this first touch, I was like, all right, that's going to be my level, and I'm going to add on the next one that we come down, and we'll add there. So I ended up adding here, and now I'm pretty much with my shares, I'm pretty much averaged in roughly around this 22.30, 22.40 level. Either way, one thing that was pretty nice to see was this resistance level right here. Well, actually, it was more like this, to be honest with you. It was more like this, where price could come up. Anytime it broke it, it came back to back test it. It failed. We came up. We couldn't close above it. We came up. We back tested it. We failed, and we'd come back down to this lower support. And then recently we came up and we actually back tested it and confirmed and didn't close any candle bodies below. And then we had a nice powerful move. And then same going on right here, where if we actually got rid of this and we pulled this line down to right here, previously over in this area, we would come up here and we would try to hold it as support, and we would fail and drop all the way down. We came back up again recently. We were trending right underneath it, and right here we broke through. So this doesn't really confirm anything just yet. We definitely know that this $23 range is going to be some key resistance, but breaking through here was a good start. And this level right here is roughly 22.74 to 22.60. I mean, we can chalk it up to anywhere between 22.70 and 22.74, I guess. Wouldn't be a bad idea. And then we'll also just keep in mind that this was an area that somebody was sitting down here at 22.48. So, if we were to get rejected here, we could fall back here, or we could fall lower, but I'm hoping we don't fall lower, but obviously. But I'm looking on the bullish side right now. We did a very nice bullish candle in here. Very nice bullish volume candle. And the last time we had a volume candle about this big, of course, this is on a 15-minute, we didn't end up coming back below wherever we saw that volume candle, which was really right on this candle. So, what I want to see is potentially, if we don't just continue up, which I don't think we would, is potentially to start chopping in this range here and create a nice base. And if we do something like that, we could actually see ourselves pull up even more. But let's go back to the hourly and see if we can find anything else potentially confirming this. But one thing to look at is obviously this was a tough area here to control or get above and hold as support. And the same thing happened right here, and the same thing happened right here. And when we lost this level, that's when we saw a big drop down. So with that being said, we've now tried to hold support on it, failed. Tried to use it as support, but ended up turning into resistance. We tried again, used it as resistance. But during this whole time of testing it each time, for the most part, we've been making higher lows. So that being said, this support line is definitely coming in pretty good confluence here. And it's going to be something to think about. But this is looking like a nice W right now on the 1 hour time frame. And what would the target be of this W breakout? Well, obviously we have to break the neckline. We could chalk the neckline up to roughly where we are right here. When you're trading a W breakout, you have the neckline, which is this middle part. And once you break through, you come down and back test the neckline. That's your confirmation. So that's roughly where we're at right now, where we're breaking this neckline. And if we can come back and back test it roughly this, 20. And this might have been the back test right here. This might have been the back test, and now we're pulling off it right now, actually. But that's roughly that 22.48. But if we were to get this breakout, this right here has a target of, from the middle of this, right here, and then you put it from the breakout right there, and this actually will bring us up to a target of 23.59. But that's just off of this small W breakout right here. And then there was this larger W that's going on right here potentially, but I don't know if I'd want to call that a W actually looking at it right now, because we had that lower low, which, somehow we ended up getting this nice bullish push off of a lower low, which sometimes can be a scary thing to see. But overall, if we zoom out further, it's really gross and ugly and choppy, but we could almost look at this like a potential W as well, where this is the first low, and then this is going to be the second low, and then we could end up having a larger pattern going on right there. But that's just something to look at. But I'm not even too concerned about the W that much. What I am going to be looking at is, although I like this 22.47, 22.50 area as holding as support, really we need to clear this level right here, and it's pretty obvious that we have some resistance roughly coming from this 23.50 right here to this $23 range. So if we can actually pop up, we might see a nice move up, and potentially we could get rejected up in this 23.50. If we get enough momentum to get above, then our next resistance isn't until really up in this range right here. So this could give us a nice move up into potentially, you could go off of some of these wicks right here. I like to go off of maybe these two wicks versus this one, just to give us a little more of a chance to get out versus targeting like right here. And this is up at 25.73, and that's not too irrational to think that we could get up into that range. Looking back here at this is on an hourly obviously, but looking back here, we can pretty much see that whenever we came down, we seem to find a lot of support right in this range here, which is, between this that's 23.60 down to 22.40. So it kind of makes sense that we're chopping around in the area that we are, in the same location that we built somewhat of decent support. Obviously, we had this big wick down here at one point, and, look at where we ended up finding support. Right at the same exact point right here. Pretty much, we dipped a little bit below, but this wick here, that ripped us all the way up. Same resistance right here. So if you look at this thing, it's very volatile, just because if you look right over here, we can see pretty much what's our trend channel here on this damn thing. It's insane. But you pretty much have a channel from, support down here in this range, and you have some resistance. I'll probably chalk it up to about right here. Or, maybe even we'll go from this right here. This is pretty much our channel. And this is from 34.78 down to 18.48, roughly. And then anytime that we break through this level here, we have not been able to hold support, and we fall back down. And there was obviously a point in time where we had some very bullish price action and completely ripped up here. But now we've only pretty much made ourselves more resistance up in those ranges because we did trend up there. I mean, we could pull this across like this and call this a large descending triangle. And if we are going to play it in that aspect, this trending line here could pretty much land at this 3478 area here if we did get a big move. But, you know, I don't want to look too far into it just yet because we obviously have a lot of work to do. This is just starting to look like potentially reversing here. But even still, the first key thing that we need to do is break this $23 range. And if we can do that, we could be definitely setting up. So I'd be watching right here. And this is still previous support pretty much of this area, give or take. We can see that this was holding us up. We've only wicked really in between this area one time here and now one time here. So whether or not this turns out to be a large double bottom, I'm not going to make that prediction, or, you know, that's way too far out for me to say that. But what I can say is that right now we are looking like we are very close to trying to break through here, and we just don't want to see this thing turn into a big M pattern that ends up, you know, being a double top right here if the market does pull down tomorrow. You know, looking down at the hourly right now, if we don't get a move up through the $23 range here and actually, you know, control up in this range, we are going to have hourly bearish divergence right here. So that's going to be something I'll be watching tomorrow, as I am in a position on this. But if this bearish divergence actually occurs here, it could actually send us down a lot lower, and I don't want to be in on that. If you were looking to get in a position, I would definitely be watching, like, you know, the 15-minute time frame, the hourly, and try to see if we can get a push above this $23 range, 23.03. See if we can get a body candle to close above. If you want a sooner entry on this thing, we can just pull this line instead of putting this line at 23. This is why I'm liking what we're seeing, is we can actually pull this down to some of these previous candles here. You can see that really at this 22.78 we've came up and we haven't been able to close any full body candles above. Right now we do have a candle body above, but we've done that before. We actually need to see this 23 hold as support, or I mean 22.78 to 22.74 hold as support, and we want to see a nice candle above this so that we can have some continuation here. And until we do that, obviously this is still potentially at resistance. And you know, I'm running out of time here, so I got to try to make this quick. But looking on a 15-minute, it is showing us that we have a very nice candle body above. It's not the first time we've done it over here. Candle body above. The next one was red. Next one was red. So on and so forth. And we just chopped around and we just couldn't seem to hold it. And then we ended up rolling over. So this is really important that we do either get a nice back test and rip up, otherwise we could just fall down on our face and turn into a giant M. So these are the things I'll be watching tomorrow. I'm going to try to pull up some indicators. I only have 2 minutes left on this video, but if we were to pull up the EMA ribbons that I have here, we can see that as of right now we can't. Oh, this is very nice to see, actually. So look over here. This is only on a 15 minutes. Take it with a grain of salt. We ripped up the EMA ribbon. We tried to backtest it. We failed. We used it as resistance. Used it as resistance. We failed. We popped up. Couldn't hold it as support. We popped up. Tried to hold it as support. We failed. We ripped back up again. We tried again to backtest it. Couldn't hold it as support. Used it as resistance. Tried to hold it as so on and so forth, right? What are we doing right now? We pulled up. We used it as support. We pulled down. We're using it as support. And now we're springboarding off it. So this is very nice to see on a 15-minute RSI pattern. We can actually draw lines. I got 30 seconds left or so. We can draw lines. We can see that was a breakout there. And lastly, I just want to pull to the 4 hour just to take a look. We are getting some clear resistance right here at this 23.09. If we can pop up, the next resistance is 23.37. And if we can clear 23.37 and get a nice breakout above all of this resistance, the bull mode is going to be on, because that's going to be our final confirmation that we are definitely getting out of here. So I hope you guys are enjoying this video. If you guys are enjoying this video and my editing, I've been adding in some music and some cool things leave me a like, leave me a comment down below. Let me know if you're interested in this, and definitely play with some confirmations because we are